world, it's Keely and welcome to another video. It is loud as hell in my apartment right now because I've got the air conditioner going because it's hot today. Got laundry going upstairs. Everything is just everywhere. But I figured I would come on here and finally start this vlog that I meant to start this morning and then just didn't. I basically just spent the morning doing a bunch of like admin stuff, paying some bills, getting caught up in my book journal, finishing some books, all that stuff, and then I've just been working. But in about 15 minutes, I am joining everyone from Sydney's Patreon to do reading sprints, but on Steph's channel. So I'm excited to finally catch some reading sprints live for Sydney's Patreon because I just joined in the last couple weeks and hadn't been able to catch any yet. I'm going to get water and then make another coffee and grab a apple cider donut. We went to the local orchard farmers market thing yesterday and we didn't get pumpkins from there like we normally do because it was packed. Like there was a line of people waiting to get in and it's never been like that before when we've gone, so we don't know what it was. I think people are just like desperate for fall and for cozy things right now. So we just went into the little farmers market store and got some little mini pumpkins that we normally get to put outside of our door that look super cute. I have other updates for you. It's been a little bit crazy, but let me make my coffee and then I'll go upstairs and update you more. Okay, it is Tuesday morning and I need to like actually film something so that I have a video to post on Friday because I've been posting consistently on Fridays. Let me update you guys on what I have been reading. I've been reading on my Kindle and have finished a couple books, and I'm reading a new book on my Kindle, and I also finished these two books, which I can't remember if I talked to you guys about. I am currently reading Slewfoot by Bram, having a bomb-ass time with it. It's so fun. I am almost halfway through it. Really enjoying it. This one so far is about this woman named Abatha, and she is actually from the UK, but her dad, like, her mom dies, her dad becomes an alcoholic, and he ends up selling her to the New World, to like a Puritan man, to become his wife. And so she moves over. She's really trying to adjust to like this Puritan way of life and really struggling. It's really just following her story so far as she is trying to adjust to all of the things that are happening, but there's obviously some other stuff going on, some very dark things. So they're like hinting at a lot of witchcraft, but I tried not to read too much into it. It says it's a tale of bewitchery. I've heard that it's not, like the vibes that it gives is what it is, but it's not 100% a witch book. So I'm trying to just like go with it and enjoy it. I'm having a great time with it. It's very vibey, just really enjoying it. I have a book haul to film. I don't even care, you guys. I have a book haul to film, and I did finish another book from that book haul, and that one was this one, Open Throat by Henry Hoke. This one is very short. It's been making its way around BookTube recently. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people absolutely love it, and I very much enjoyed it. This one is about a mountain lion that lives in Los Angeles on one of the hiking trails, and it's just from the perspective of the mountain lion, and I'm so in love with this book. It was just so weird and so cute, and I just really enjoyed it. And I thought it was so interesting that this became a book because I have a really close friend that lives in Los Angeles and goes hiking, and we've talked about the mountain lion that actually does live on one of the hiking trails out there many times over the years. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, look. So I of course had to get it and read it, and I really enjoyed it. And then I can't remember where I left off from my last video, but I did read Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. Absolutely loved it. Turned into just the weirdest horror story, and now I'm very much in the mood for like weird horror, so that's what I've been reading a lot of. I finished that one, which is about a conversion camp. I read 2 Delilah S. Dawson books. So I read Bloom, which is a short horror story about this woman who got out of a really shitty relationship. She's just kind of like floundering, and then she goes to a farmer's market one day and becomes kind of obsessed with a woman at the farmer's market, and they develop a relationship. And I don't know what my lighting is doing. It's very overcast today, so sorry that it's like, if you can see that it's like changing itself. She becomes obsessed with this woman at the farmer's market, and I did kind of predict one of the big twists, just because like if you pick up on if you pay attention to like context clues as you're reading a horror, you're like, oh, okay, obviously that's what's gonna happen. At different points, the main character will like think to herself like, huh, that smells kind of familiar, but I can't place it. And I'm like, that's what it is. Oh my God, you're describing this thing. I did the same thing with this book that I did with Bloom, where I reach a certain point and I text my husband so that it's in writing as proof, and I'm like, I'm on this page, this is my prediction for what's going to happen, and then whether or not I get that right is a fun thing that I do with my husband. So I did predict a big twist in this one, but not the full thing, which was really fun. Same with Bloom, I predicted what the twist was going to be, but not the final scenes, which I really enjoyed. I have been heavily influenced by Sydney and her Patreon. I joined her Patreon and have just been going through like Sydney's backlog and Patreon backlog of like all of the books that they've read together. And so I've been just engaging with the Patreon like, oh my God, I finally read Bloom, what the hell? And then after I read Bloom, I picked up Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson, which is a little bit longer than Bloom, but it's about a woman that grew up very impoverished, has really had to struggle to kind of have anything, and she went to fashion school, and there is this fashion designer that she is kind of obsessed with and wants to have the chance to meet and maybe work for her. And so in order to do that, she ends up developing a relationship with one of this designer's sons, who is just like the worst possible human ever. And he is like, oh, well, my family owns this island and we have a big, like basic a resort there that's private. And if you want to come to this island, you have to sign an NDA. You can't have your phone. You can't have any of that. And she's like, okay, I hate this guy, but I'll do anything to like make it. So she agrees. She goes to the island, and oh my God. It was one of the most graphically violent horror stories that I've read, but I had such a great time with it. I ended up reading Guillotine because there was a blurb on the front of the copy at Barnes & Noble that said it was like glass onion mixed with, oh, how did she describe it? Glass onion mixed with something, and it was a quote from T. Kingfisher, and I love T. Kingfisher, and I showed that quote to my husband. He was like, oh shit, tell me how that is. So I read that one, freaking loved it. It was so good. So now I need to read Delilah Dawson's newest one, Idol, I'm not sure. It has to do with horses, so I'm very excited, but I haven't been able to get a copy of that one yet. There's a long waiting list at my library. I am still reading the second book in the Shadow Histories duology. It's just reading very slow, so I do actually need to pick that one back up and make some more progress in it. But when I was at Barnes & Noble the other day with my husband, we got coffee and we're sitting down and reading, and I was looking around at all the shelves because I did want to get some books because I had a gift card, and I did of course get books, but I looked around and I saw this cover, Anoxia, and I was like, hold on, that cover is terrifying and I love it. And so I got up and I read the back of the book and I was like, absolutely. And then I checked and my library had a copy that had no holds on it, so I immediately borrowed it. Now I'm reading it. So this one is Anoxia by Miguel Angel Hernandez, and it's translated from Spanish. And I read the first, I think, 88 pages last night because I just couldn't put it down. So I'm now a third of the way through this book. So far, I don't know entirely what like the twists are gonna be, but it is a psychological kind of horror spooky about a photographer that is asked one day to take a death photo of someone. And if you know anything about like death photos or like mortuary photography, that's not really something that we do anymore, like in mainstream Western cultures. It used to be very big that you would take a photo of your dead loved one, and then sometimes you'd pose them, and you'd just a part of the grieving process. And so the photographer is like, okay. So she takes this job, she takes the photo, and then she finally meets the guy that asked her to take the photo of his friend. Turns out that he promised his friend that he would do this when he died because he himself was a very, very well-known mortuary photographer. And so now they are the like main character and this guy are going on jobs together to take photos, and he's teaching her about these types of photos and stuff. And so far it's just kind of like unsettling because this is so new to her, being completely surrounded by death in this way. But I think it's going to be more of like, not so much like a actual ghost horror as it is kind of like a conversation about grief, because a big part of the story is that the photography business that she owned with her husband, and he died tragically 10 years ago in a car accident. And it's something that she talks about a lot in the book, about how like she feels kind of locked in her grief. And even when like her sister-in-law found out that she was, you know, taking on this new project of taking death photos, her sister-in-law was like, is that a good idea for you? Because like, you're clearly not okay. So is it a good idea to be surrounded by that much death? But I'm really enjoying it. I'm like flying through it. It's so good so far. I'm reading Slewfoot, and then I'm reading Anoxia. My plan for the next couple days is just to continue reading these books. I have to film a book haul and get that posted, and then just continue through my TBR list. I've started a couple different like project vlogs, and instead of deleting that footage, because I am now just kind of heavily mood reading, so those books I'm still reading, but like I put them down for right now, I'm gonna hold on to the footage and come back to them. This new thing, this new me, where I'm not giving up on projects, I'm just putting them on the back burner for a moment. But other updates, I got my Sexy Mothman tattoo on Friday, so I will insert a picture here. My tattoo artist did an amazing job. It's not at all what I originally wanted, but, or what I, like, the concept I had in my head. I gave him like a general, like, you know, standard Mothman on top, slutty little legs on the bottom, leaning toward humor instead of like full-on sexy, because I had seen some like kind of like Marilyn Monroe wearing a Mothman costume pinup tattoos, which that's not the vibe. I didn't want like fat tits. Like I didn't want that. And so he was like, yeah, I got it. Like, I am excited for this tattoo. I think I understand your vision. And I was like, okay. And then I get to the tattoo parlor and he's like, okay, can I show you what I drew up? And I was like, well, obviously. And he showed me and I fell in love with it. And I was like, yes, absolutely. So it's not my original idea, but I loved it enough anyway that I was like, no, that's perfect. Let's do that. So I got my tattoo done on Friday. It sucked. It hurt a lot. And at one point I had to sit kind of weird because it's on the side of my right leg. And so I was sitting on the table and then just had my right leg like that, sitting with my hip kind of twisted for a couple hours. Sucked. Like, we did take breaks, but my leg was still like, and then at the end he was like, oh, can you lift your leg up? And I'll put like clean paper towels under it on top of the paper so that I can get a picture without having all of the like gunk that comes when you are getting a tattoo and they're like constantly wiping it and all the excess ink and like your blood and all of that. And I was like, sure. And then I went to actually lift my leg and was like, no. He was like, oh, you got dead leg. And I was like, yes, I have dead leg. So I had to like lift my leg up because my leg had just fallen asleep completely from sitting that way. But that one's done. It looks great. I love it so much. So I'm officially done with tattoos until next year, and I'm so excited to be done. They hurt so much. I love them so much, but they hurt so much. So I'm done. My husband has a couple tattoo appointments coming up for the rest of the year. He's finishing a sleeve and then getting a chest tattoo, so we will still be going through the healing process, but mine are done for now. I've also just been doing a lot of reorganizing, a lot of cleaning. I actually went through my office and now you can see I brought my reading chair into my office and decided to do a tiny bit of rearranging in here. Then also some rearranging in the bedroom. Basically, we're just trying to make things feel cozier without it being cluttered, which if you have like a lot of knickknacks, and like obviously I have shit all over my walls, sometimes I am all for it and I want all the things, and then times like right how I've been right now with my anxiety has just been so bad these last couple months that I have been like, okay, how I was living is not serving me right now. It's not working. So let's adjust. And I'm very much a person that like, I can't have shit on the floor. It drives me absolutely crazy. Like the floors need to be clean, but like strategically placed surfaces can have things on them. But yeah, it was just too much. Like things that I had set up when we moved into this apartment a couple years ago and then had like never touched again. And I was like, that's just not doing it for me anymore. So let's get rid of it. So we took another 4 bags of stuff to donate to Goodwill, 2 bags of books and 2 bags of like a mixture of clothes and squishmallows and stuff that I had collected and was like, I forgot I even had this. So lots of stuff. So I think our apartment is getting into a much better place. I hate describing it because it sounds like if I was you watching this and you hadn't actually seen our apartment, but you were hearing me, I would think that I was like a hoarder. And I'm not a hoarder. I just like having things that make it feel like my space. So having like spooky things on the shelves and stuff like that. And we definitely fell into that trap of like, we moved into a slightly bigger apartment and we're like, oh, well, we need things to fill the space. No, you don't. It's like that classic Carlin sketch about how like, I need space for my things and then I need more space for my things and to store these things. And it's like, that's definitely what it was starting to feel like. And so we were like, okay, we're more comfortable in our space now. Everything feels better. Let's go through and like now we're going to be working on upgrading some of our stuff in terms of like furniture, which I'm really excited about. My plan is still to read all of the books that I've bought in September by the end of September. We're halfway through. Today is the 16th. I'm going to focus. I'm going to try really hard to get all of them done. All right, here's the tarot cards. Let's choose, we'll take this one. Oh my God, that's adorable. What is that? The Empress. Oh, it's a little cat with her tongue out. Okay, absolutely love that. So, The Empress by Caitlin Ono, and that is the that's from Major Arcana, right? I'm learning. All right, The Empress. Let's look and see. Upright keywords: divine feminine, sensuality, fertility, nurturing, creativity, beauty, abundance, and nature. And then if we go to meaning, the Empress shows us how deeply we are embedded to our femininity. Femininity could be associated with fertility, expression, creativity, and nurturing, among many other aspects. It therefore calls you to connect with beauty and bring happiness to your life. Understand yourself and get in touch with your sensuality so that you can attract life circumstances to bring happiness and joy. She is a signal that you should be kind to yourself, take care of yourself. Also a strong indication of pregnancy and motherhood. You could look for other cards to confirm if this is truly pregnancy or rather just an indication of a motherly, nurturing, and caring attitude. The Empress card could also mean the birth of new ideas, business, or project on your life. More project stuff. There's a dog outside. So, of course, now my dog is freaking out. One of our neighbors also has a black and white Chihuahua that's even smaller than Zoe. And he was out walking it. And of course, because I had the windows open because it's cold today, my dog was like, how dare you be outside? Back to this card. The Empress card could mean birth of a new idea, business, or project. Owing to the good fortune that surrounds this card, you can be sure that such situations and projects would end successfully in your life. Discover and bring forth those ideas that have been clinging to you and make sure that you devote yourself toward accomplishing them. This card is a sign that they're going to be successful and well taken care of. The Empress, as the archetype of Mother Earth, also encourages you to spend time interacting with nature. With the projects, I am very much a project person, so really, really loving that. Still, like, trying really hard to not just impulse buy things, which has been working, I'd say, like 99% of the time. I'm definitely more intentional. I'm into, like, month 2 of doing this. Actually, like, I think week 6 of doing this, still using my calendar and putting Lisa Frank stickers on the days that I don't spend money on like frivolous things. If there are things that were planned, like tattoos, that doesn't count, plus bills, like I had a couple medical bills, I paid those off, you know, appointments, things like that. I have an appointment coming up this Saturday, which I'm not looking forward to. I have an MRI and I told my husband, like, Previously, when I've gone for an MRI or for like a CAT scan or stuff, I've always been like, nah, I'm fine, I got this. And then I sit in the waiting room like panicking because I have medical anxiety. I'm like, why didn't I just tell him that I want him with me? So this time I was like, okay, I have this MRI on Saturday morning. Grab your book. Your ass is coming with me. And he's like, okay. Like, it was never that he was like, I'm not going with you. It was me being like, no, I'm fine. And then it's like downplaying my own needs instead of being like, I would feel better if you were there. So he's gonna obviously be there. So I have that. Yeah, but like been really doing well at finding things that are just not serving me anymore. I actually found another book yesterday that I could get rid of. The other thing, my sister and I went to, this past weekend, we went to a concert, and it was my first concert in a very, very long time. I had seen, the last concert I went to was in, I want to say 2014. I took my husband to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Christmas show in Philadelphia, and I had seen them when I was a kid, and it was amazing. We had such a fun time, but I don't do concerts. I don't do giant enclosed venues with thousands of people. I just don't do that. So it was a nostalgia concert, which was great because it was 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin, which are bands that we loved in high school. And I was like, hell yeah, like that should be so fun. So we met up on Saturday and I drove us out there. We went out to Scranton to the Pavilion at Montage Mountain in Scranton, Pennsylvania. We only have to wait for like 10 minutes and then the line starts moving. We all go in. It turns out it's an outdoor venue, which we had no idea about. So I was immediately like, oh my God, thank you. Like, it makes me feel a little bit better that we are outside. So at least there's like more area to move. There is fresh air, things like that. Because I was really concerned about being in an enclosed building with that many people. No, it was outside. And we had deliberately purchased 2 seats, very back row in the very back corner. Because when we thought it was inside, I was like, oh, awesome, we're right next to an exit. Like, if I start having a panic attack, I can leave. But we were outside. So it turns out that we were at the very back of the area where there were actually chairs. Back up behind us was like a field, and that's where all the lawn seating was. We were at the back and I was like, okay, I don't mind this at all. There's still a lot of people. It can get crazy very fast, but I was like, okay, I am very much more comfortable being outside. And at 7 o'clock, this other band comes on stage, Return to Dust, which is a brand new band. They put out their first album last year, and it's just not my style. I listen to death metal, and this was not death metal. It was the Return to Dust. They said that their biggest inspiration is Alice in Chains, which I don't listen to. And they did a great job. Like, they put on a great show. They sounded amazing live. Like, they were wonderful. And then 3 Days Grace came out next. They were like 10 minutes late, but that's like no big deal. They came out, sounded incredible live. Like, Adam Gontier has really done a lot to protect his voice because he sounded exactly like the albums, which is insane. We had such a fun time. It was really funny because, like, they would announce like, oh, we have our new album and let me know. He's like, how many of you have it? And like a third of the crowd was like, ah. And they were like, this is the latest single off our new album. And my sister and I had no idea what it was because we haven't listened to any of the new music. And I was like looking around at all the crowd that I could see, and like maybe 1 out of 30 people was mouthing along with the lyrics. And I was like, okay, this crowd is our age and older, people that grew up with like very angsty 3 Days Grace, because right after they played the newest song, then Adam Gontier was like, how many of you are ready for the first song we ever released, which was I Hate Everything About You? The crowd went absolutely crazy. We were all screaming the lyrics. It was so much fun. So we had a great time with them. And then later in the night, Breaking Benjamin came out, and so good, so good. Like, they put on a hell of a show. So the plan for the rest of this week is really just to hang out and to read as much as I can. I'm very much in the mood for like spooky horror stuff. We of course are having like a mini heat wave again in Pennsylvania, where now it's in the 80s again, which is so annoying because we're just ready for it to be completely fall. But we did go and we got some pumpkins, and so I have to put them out front. And my husband was talking the other day about how someone else in our complex where we live apparently has like fully decorated for Halloween. And we've been seeing people in like nearby neighborhoods that have fully decorated for Halloween. And it's so lovely. And I'm someone that like all through college, my dorm and apartment was Halloween year round. And then my husband and I moved in together, and he was very much like, I prefer to have the themed Halloween themed Christmas decorations only up for that month. Over the years, I've been able to like chip away at that. And so now he said the other day about how like it was so cozy driving by this house and seeing like all of these crazy Halloween decorations. And I was like, oh, it's time to decorate. It's time to decorate. So I have to get out our Halloween decorations this week. I'm so excited. But it's been wild. So I'm having a bomb ass time with reading. I finished that giant project I was working on for work. I finished that up last week. So now I'm just kind of like in the downward slump of like, I was so focused for so long, and now I have like other projects ramping up. So in the meantime, I'm just like, ugh. But okay, I need to get some work done. I need to get some reading done, and then I will come back and update you guys later. Okay, I owe you another reading update. So it is Wednesday, it's like 4 o'clock. I've been working all day. We just finished sprints with Sydney, which was lovely to actually get to like do productivity sprints and get some reading done. Last night I finished Anoxia, and I thought it was great. I had such a wonderful time with it. It was kind of, even though it read really, really fast, it was kind of like a slow burn, but like there's like one kind of twist when you're just like not entirely sure what happened. It just leaves you very unsettled. I really, really liked it. I'm so glad that I randomly saw it at Barnes & Noble and decided to get it from the library. Then I started Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. This is my third Paul Tremblay, and I am really enjoying it so far. I'm like 25% of the way through, and it is very much just like a haunted movie kind of book. So it's kind of like The Ring, in that whatever is happening with this movie is like cursed or something. So far, you follow the only surviving member of the group of these teenagers that in the 90s, I think it was in the 90s, they were trying to make like an independent horror movie. And we're learning it's like two timelines. So it's like current day when people are trying to remake or like complete the movie with this surviving guy that was part of it and his experience with that. And then the past where it's telling also from his experience of like what they did and what happened. And so far I'm really enjoying it. I don't know why it took me this long to pick up another Paul Tremblay, because I really do enjoy his writing. I read Head Full of Ghosts, and there's one that's like Devil's Rock or something, and I really, really love Devil's Rock. I have thought about that book so many times over the years. I don't really remember anything from Head Full of Ghosts. I remember way more from the Devil's Rock book, but I did really enjoy that one. So I'm making my way through Horror Movie. I also today during sprints decided to start Welcome to the Hyeonam-dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-rum. This one was a recommendation from Sydney. She said it's one of her favorite books ever. It's just very cozy. Y'all, I read the first like 60 pages so far. It reads so fast, and it is incredibly comforting and cozy from the start, and I am just loving it so much. I know this is one that I'm going to want to reread in the future, and I like there's so many quotes and just sections that I'm wanting to write all over this book, but I'm trying to just like absorb it for the first read through. I am freaking loving it though. The other thing that's kind of going on right now is I have two books that I want to potentially unhaul, but I want to ask my husband if he wants the one. So I think I'm going to unhaul Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, because this is massive and it's also a sci-fi, and I don't really read that much sci-fi. If I do, they need to be shorter, but I know that people either really, really love Adrian Tchaikovsky or they just don't get along with his writing. So because it won he won the Arthur C. Clarke Award. I do want to ask my husband if this is one that he would like us to keep on our like fantasy sci-fi shelves that we share, for him to read maybe in the future. Otherwise, I'm fine with unhauling it. And the other one I think I am just going to unhaul is Bone Rooms, because I've had this book for so long since it came out. The reason I haven't unhauled it is like twofold. One, because I do think it sounds interesting, but two, because my husband got it for me for Valentine's Day when it came out, and I very much attach so much like symbolism and meaning to things that people get me. And I know my husband is going to be like, I don't remember getting you that. I don't care if you get rid of it. But in my head, I'm like, but you bought it for me. But it's just taking up room. I have now tried to read it at least twice. Both times I've put it down and have not really wanted to pick it back up. I really think this one would be much better as an audiobook. And so far, I haven't been able to find an audiobook version, so I don't know if there is one, but I just don't see me getting to this one anytime soon. And I think it's just better if I unhaul it and let someone else get some joy out of it. So no shade to Samuel Redman. It just reads very much kind of like a textbook. And because of that, I think it would be better as an audiobook. So if I come back to this one, it will hopefully be in audio form. I think that's going to be it for this vlog though, because I need to get it edited and ready to post. I just posted my book haul for September today, and I originally was like, oh, I can post my book haul on Friday and then I'll have a video. But I didn't want this vlog to go into next week because then it would be like crazy long. But I am hoping I can bring you along for stuff this weekend. It's not going to be a terribly exciting weekend. I have to get an MRI on Saturday, which I'm not looking forward to. And then my husband and I are going out for a afternoon tea date to this place that we love, that we go to a couple times a year, not of year. But yeah. I think that's it for now. So I am getting a bunch of reading done. I'm really enjoying it. Am I sticking to my TBRs? Kind of not really, but my TBR is like this ever-changing, ever-expanding thing. I almost started a different book in the moment because I heard someone raving about this other horror novel, and I was like, oh my god, if I can get it from the library, I'm going to start it right now. But I couldn't get it from the library, so I didn't end up starting it. But I am trying to read those books from my September book haul. This one is part of that. It's a lot going on in my head at any given time, but I'm just having a good time kind of just reading. And now I have to finish out my work day, and then we're just going to have dinner and hang out and have another reading session probably, because he's still reading Project Hail Mary. And I think that's it. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.